All right, sorry, I passed this one. Last Strybener says, I think people have great confidence, but the room for doubt never goes away. I guess that's my overall point. There comes a point of unreasonable skepticism, like my car only exists if I see it. Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, and I mentioned this in an earlier video. The idea that you call this unreasonable skepticism. Let me actually get to this next slide because that's actually another point. So I say skepticism could be healthy or unhealthy. These first 2 points describe it in a healthy way. I think it's fair and fine, and you probably should be this first way. Healthy skepticism enables us to think more clearly and responsibly. It protects us from irrational fads, myths, and fables, just believing the next great thing just because it's hot or something trendy. And healthy skepticism also promotes a prudent humility and openness to new information. I don't have it all figured out, right? So this is all very good, right? But skepticism can become really unhealthy. Um, and when it's carried to extremes, I call this like radical skepticism. Okay. Radical skepticism, when carried to extremes, actually paralyzes thought, making us doubt just simple things. Like we'll get to this in a later live stream, but if I go down here, right here, here's the second way. Aquinas' second argument from God's existence. And he argues, this is a second way argument from efficient causes. And I don't mean to get too tied up in this because we're not really examining it right now, but I'm just using it as an excuse to explain what I just mentioned about denying like simple things. This is an argument from basically cause and effect. Like I look out into the world, I see cause and effect happening, and therefore it goes through the argument and it concludes that there must be a first cause. This might sound familiar to you. You might have even thought about it before. Although it's written in really jargony, highfalutin, philosophical language, I have to believe the average person has come across these thoughts before, like, well, things, and even in the first argument is this argument for motion. I see that certain things are in motion. The world, as I look at it now, things are moving. That had to start somewhere, right? So I see things causing other things and things having effects. It's like a line of dominoes, right? Well, what was the first domino? This is what he's arguing to. Something has to be the first domino to fall in order to see the things now falling, that is the effects, fall. There had to be something that fell first. Now, this is very basic, but in response to this, many atheists will go so extreme as to deny the very principle of cause and effect. They'll just say, well, maybe something can be effects without ever having causes. That is what I'm suggesting is an example of this. Radical skepticism, when it's extreme, paralyzes thought. Now you're in a bind. You can't get out. And it makes us doubt first principles, like the principle of cause and effect, without which all knowledge would be impossible. If the principle of cause and effect is not true, like I can't even rely upon my sensory information, like sight, because cause and effect is involved in that. Like so many, in fact, I got another slide on that real quick. Right here. So many things happen in this long process right here. If I look at my hand, well, the light's got to hit it. And then the light from my hand has got to hit my eye. And then it's got to make, all of this is in a causal chain. If that principle is just wrong, like this very basic principle of reasoning, very self-evident. If any of those steps could occur without a cause, knowledge would be impossible. Why? Well, because if those could happen without a cause, then anything could happen without a cause. So anything at all could happen. And now all of a sudden I'm in a real bind because I'm in such a bind here. Let me go back. That I can't even know things at all. And when I'm radically skeptical, like I can't even know basic things. Well, what did this one person say? Basic things like where I parked my car, basic things like whether the external world outside of my head exists. Those are the things I'm going to doubt. And those are silly things that you get to that point.